Welcome to the Brothers Bullshit Breakfast. Join us as we tell strange and embellished stories while stuffing our face.
First thing I want to do is let everybody know that this breakfast is brought to us and you by our big brother David. Thank you, David.
Thank you, brother.
And I want to, as he's such an eloquent presenter of stuff, and I just wanted to let you know, what do you think of that, huh? So, thank you, brother. Message received. I love
when you
it.
sent me that picture, I'm like, oh, what is that? What's that mean?
Yeah.
I understood the Benjamin, but this piece I didn't quite get.
Yeah,
So.
This is going to go in I got a little scrapbook that I have. Well, it's more like a memoir book, but I've got a bunch of David stuff in it, and I'm hoping my granddaughter gets it when I'm gone, because there's some neat stuff I think neat. I'm not trying to get romantic about it, but
You can't sell it on eBay.
No. Well, there's a couple items. There's a $2 bill that her great grandmother we ended up with from her great grandmother's estate. There's 2 Mercury dimes, and they were the first 2 dimes. They're the first things I found when we lived in Grand Forks. Clint, my son, and we went in together and bought a white metal detector, like what you have.
Oh, sure.
Same one.
Sure.
And so, man, first thing we did was like, okay, let's go in the backyard and see if we find anything, Man, first thing we found were 2 Mercury dimes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And
that's a keeper.
Yeah. So I just kept them, and I stuck them in this book, And speaking of metal detecting, the coolest thing I ever found with it was when we lived in St. Paul. The house that we had was next to another house that was originally a pump house for the stagecoach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the stagecoach hotel or whatever, where they would come and stay, was around the corner from us. One of those big 3-story with the thing on top where you can look and leave a light on and stuff like that, so people could see to come. I mean, and it's a historic building. But anyhow, this friend, our next door neighbor, that house was the old pump house, and so anyhow, when I first, one of the first things I did after it had rained really good, is I went out and scanned the yard, and I found a few items in the yard, but you could tell they were about that deep. And so I just kind of kept a map of where it was. And before I left, I went out there and started digging up these items, and I found I think it was an 1895 Indian head penny.
Okay, cool.
So I was real happy with that, and I gave it to my neighbor because I told him, I says, hey man, this is part of the history of this area.
Right.
And I've told you about that house that we lived in, square and plumb, built in the 20s, but it was a Sears and Roebuck house, a kit house.
A kit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, God dang it, this is awesome.
Came out of New York.
Yeah. Okay, the second thing before we get to the fishing pole story is I saw a reel on Facebook the other day, and it shows this guy. He's in line at a little food truck, okay, and this lady, he's got this shirt on the back, and what are those scrambled little codes that you can check out?
QR code.
QR code.
Yeah.
He's got a big old QR code on there, and this lady's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna find out what that says. And she scans it, comes back and says, fuck you. I told Liz, I gotta have that shirt. So I'm gonna be looking for it.
Well, what you need to do is go to a QR code generator, because that's what this guy did. He went to a QR code generator, generate a QR code with these words,
Yeah.
and then print that out, and then go to
Yeah.
Susie or someone to screen print it on.
Yeah. Can you screen print this? You don't know what it says.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She's like, yeah, $20. I'll screen it.
Yeah. So my fishing pole story. I was at a.
Oh, by the way, we were at Greasy Rick's this morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Lovingly Greasy Rick's.
And boy, it's quiet in here. I guess the early crowd left, huh?
Well, it is 7:10. They're out on the farms now.
Yeah. I saw the guy that I can't stand, but I don't talk to him at all, man. The only way he's going to get me to talk to him is pay me $300, and I'll
Call it good.
So
So
anyhow,
your fishing pole.
The farmers market.
Go, sweetheart.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
You don't know him very well.
He's got me full now.
Calling him sweet.
Anything
Thanks.
else for you guys?
Oh no, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
So I went over to the farmers market. What are they called? The master gardeners.
Master Gardeners.
And I want to let you know, anytime that you need some kind of fresh herb or something, you know they grow basil and all kinds of stuff
Yes,
over there.
yes.
And you're welcome to go pick what you want.
Yes, we've bought some plants from them.
Well, anyhow, I went to their little. They had a yard sale, and
Uh-huh.
it was in the paper and all this stuff. And so I went over there to check for stuff to resell and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, there were these fishing poles. And, there was a fly pole. And, you know, I told you that now that my knees are back in order,
Right.
you know, I'd like to do some fly fishing. It has been a long time since I've done any fly fishing. But
I don't think
anyhow,
I've ever done any fly fishing.
So I decided, well, they were $5 a piece, and there was a spin cast, and I bought one of those, and then I bought that fly pole, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, I didn't want the pole because it was an old bamboo pole, okay,
Oh, okay.
and so I decided, well, I could probably sell that on eBay. I've sold one before, and but it was in way better shape than this, you know, it came with its own little holster and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And this was the thing. I bought it because I'm like, well, that's a nice looking reel on it, you know. There was a Shakespeare reel, and I thought, yeah, I'll get that reel and get another pole, you know, a newer pole, and maybe start doing it, you know. Well, I get home and I thought, well, I just wonder what that reel's worth. Well, first one I found on eBay was listed for $35, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna sell this sucker.
So you're gonna flip it.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip it, and the pole. I'm gonna do the pole too. It's not in real good shape, so you know, it'd be one of those things. You know, I'll put $12 or best offer, and somebody will say, "Oh, I'll take it. So $7, fine. It's yours. You're paying for the package shipping. It's all yours." I've gotten to my place where it's like, that's how I do it. But that's what I got the pole for, because I'm slowly going to start putting together some fishing, fishing gear, so that maybe sometime you and I can go fishing.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I was tickled. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll find a mud hole somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there's one by our house. It's a nice little hole.
Yeah.
And I was told there's flathead catfish in it. And flathead, that's the best eating catfish. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, they're not. They probably do, but they're not real hip on chicken liver and baits that sit on the bottom and stuff like that. They go after live fish, So,
All right.
but anyhow, there's perch in there and everything else.
So,
We need to find a crappie place though.
is it my understanding then you do not possess a pole to actually use other than what you bought to flip?
No, I bought 2 poles.
Oh, you bought
One is a spin cast, and the other one is that fly pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. The fly pole was was a little bit of an afterthought, but I thought, well, if I'm gonna do this, might as well start working on that too, But then I checked it out, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna sell that.
I'm flipping
I
that.
mean, I don't have to have top of the line.
No.
We're just talking about trout.
Yeah. Walmart pole. That's all I got.
No, I'll find more stuff.
I
I have bypassed
ain't
so
a
much
sports
fishing here.
fisherman. That's for sure.
But yeah, that's my fishing pole story.
Well, I'm cursed with mowers.
Yeah.
I'm cursed. Okay. So, a week or so ago, I got up in the morning and I go, oh, this is the absolute optimum weather to mow.
Oh yeah.
Optimal. I mean, no humidity, sun was shining, beautiful glow, everything's nice and aligned with the stars and stuff. And I get the mower out and I back it out and bring it up to my gas can and fill it up, right? I go down the back fence line, beside the shop, in the backyard there. I go down there, turn around, and I mow along the fence and mow up along the front of the shop and get all that done. And I turn around and I get ready to go and then start the real mowing, right?
Yeah, get into it.
Died. Okay, well, I don't know why that happened. Let me do it again. I'm going, oh man, what's going on?
God hates me.
Fred's in the lab, right? He's in there working. And so I go, motor died. I don't know what's going on. So I get my spark plug tester, bring it out. I said, am I getting spark? Beautiful on both of them. Beautiful spark. Spark's good. Okay. Well, something else is going on. And so we bring it into the lab. And we're going to look at the gas. Or we check the fuel pump. No, that's pumping just fine. That's good there. So we drained some gas and it wouldn't drain. Something inside the tank, some kind of debris, is blocking that drain in the hose. Okay. Well, we get the vacuum out and we try to blow, force it through. It didn't work. Turned it on suck to suck everything around. And that loosened up whatever it was. And then we got some gas. Water was in that tank. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. So we wound up taking the tank off, getting the tank off, draining all the gas. And then I said, well, now that we've got it in here, I might as well go ahead and get fresh oil, filter, fuel filter, stuff like that. So I go up to Dave and Kathy's and get stuff and when it died, I get off the mower and I look at my front right wheel. It's flat. I'm going, what the hell? So we get back. We dried out the gas tank, got it all dried out, and put on new gas filter and changed the oil and everything. And I said, well, while I'm at it, I might as well lift it up and take off the blades and sharpen the blades. And I get under there. This is a 3-blade deck, right?
Yeah.
The one on the port that shoots out the stuff, the blade's gone.
The blade
is gone. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then
Bolt missing too?
bolt missing too.
Oh my goodness.
And I take the other two blades off, and they are about as sharp as the edge of this. I mean, just beat up, chewed up. I said, okay, well, I got to go up to RJ's and get some new blades, and hopefully they got that bolt. So I took that bolt with me. Fortunately, they did. They had that same bolt and washer. So I get that. So I'm already $100 into repairing this thing, right?
And all he wanted to do was mow.
All I want to do is mow well, by the time we're done, it's too hot. Can't mow. Can't mow, can't do nothing.
And it's been hot ever since. Humid.
Awful. So I put on the new blades, and now, and then when I did have another opportunity to mow, I burned the whole tank just mowing the lower side, the west side, because I'm looking for that blade. I'm looking for that. I don't want to hit that blade.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. Well, you know where that sweet gum tree fell over?
Yeah.
I was up on the street side mowing there, and I'm, mowing along the street. And I look down, and there's that blade. I go, great, found the blade. I didn't mow it up. I couldn't find the blade. So there it is. That's pretty much the end of the story. But I got new oil in it.
Yeah.
Fresh
Got it
gas.
all tuned up for next
Got
year.
it all tuned up. There you go, new blades on it.
Well, that's all
Oh my
right.
God. What is it with...
They're just not for you. You should be living in a condo where somebody else mows it.
Rebecca says, for as much as you invest in these mowers and stuff, just hire someone to come every couple of weeks to mow it. You'll save money.
I'm telling you.
Of course, I look at her and respond, shut up.
Yeah. It's
You're
like,
right.
You're not a man.
Well,
We do stupid stuff.
yeah. So it is. Almost killed our nephew yesterday, bless his heart.
Wait a minute, that's not a good euphemism.
So, Fred came over yesterday, and we're moving the music equipment and electronic stuff out of the ghetto box into the lab, because it's more environmentally controlled in there.
Yeah.
And then moving stuff out of the lab into the ghetto box. And, I have all of Diane's stuff that the kids need to come and get.
Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen. They already got all the shiny stuff, so, yeah.
The stuff they understand.
Yeah, I'll keep all the pictures and stuff. Poor Fred. Fortunately, we did the heavy stuff in the morning, before it started getting ugly. But by the afternoon, bless his heart, he's sweating. His shirt was just drenched. And I'm like, hey, I don't need you killing over on me because I'd have to drag you across the street. And so we worked all day. All day getting this all squared away and everything. And I still got some more inside the lab. But almost killed our nephew. He almost died on us.
And you didn't even buy him lunch.
I didn't even buy him lunch. I know, right? That was pretty sad, but hey. But I hope he made it to work this morning. Well, I'll know when I get back.
Oh, he's back in Houston?
No, he's still here.
Oh, okay. Work at your place.
Yeah, he works at the lab there. His car, I don't know what you call him. We pulled his car into the lab, and he was going to replace the it's an all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So the two shafts that are in the front,
Yeah.
he's got they're blown, so the boots are blown and everything. So he's going to repair it. I said, first of all, we don't have a jack stable enough for you to have to pull on those things to try and get them off. I said, I would suggest you just take them down to the Perez boys and let them do it. They're the ones that identified, you need to replace those.
Is that Perez across?
Yeah, right over
Yeah.
here. Yeah. So that's what he's going to do. I said, it's just too dangerous. I mean, I don't want your car damaged.
So did he buy the axles?
Yeah, he's got
The whole thing?
Yes, he's got them. On the left side, the driver's side, it's shorter.
Yeah.
But on the passenger side, it's a longer.
Yeah, that's because of how the engine's set. But I remember the days. We bought a 1980 brand new 1980 Subaru station wagon. I don't know if you remember. It was a tan color. Anyhow, I mean, great car. Did all the things I needed it to do.
Right.
Except it got stuck one night, and it was 4-wheel drive. Subarus, they all came with this 4-wheel drive thing, that you could engage it and stuff. And I'm like, well, I got me a 4-wheel drive. So,
Without having to go out and lock the hub.
no, it was
sweet.
And I just felt confident that I could do what my buddy that had a Ford 150 or 250 with jacked up with tires about this wide. We went bird hunting one time, and he just drove anywhere he wanted to. I'm like, okay, well, I got a little Subaru, I can do this.
I can do that with the street tires.
Yeah. So, they came with little snow tires.
Oh, yeah?
Things,
Oh, okay.
I got a great story. This is why I'm leading up to that. But anyhow, back in the day, the boots, the CD, the DJO, the ones that are up next to the engine, that's a DJO boot or joint. And then the ones that are at the wheel, that's called the CD, constant velocity.
Okay.
Well, I'm driving the car around and it's wintertime and I make a turn and I get this click, 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 click. And I'm like, what in the world? I look in there, the boot's like all cracked and crap's got in there. Once it does that, so you got to change it out.
You got to change it out, yeah.
So I changed one out, that's what you did when you were a poor airman and, and you didn't barely had enough money to pay for the car payment.
Sadly, you didn't have Google or YouTube to...
Nothing.
How do you do this?
I asked the mechanic, a mechanic friend, he says, it's not that hard. Yeah, of course, you do this every day. You probably do it at night in your sleep,
It's not that hard.
Yeah. The biggest problem is, he told me, he says, now when you're going to pull it out of the engine, you got to really give it a jerk because there's a keeper ring in there.
And that's what Fred was saying. He says, you got to really hammer those things out.
Yeah, and you do.
I
And
said,
so,
well, my little jack is not going
no, you want that thing to be supported
on a lift.
Yeah. And so anyhow, I remember pulling that. I did a couple things when I was poor. Well, I'm still poor, but I mean when I was a poor, poorer guy, like changing out a 350 or 400 turbo Chevy transmission.
Holy smoke! Really?
Yeah. I needed a spare car, so I went down and bought this Chevy Caprice Classic station wagon that had been some paper company car that they used to do stuff. So I figured, at least the maintenance was probably maintained well, and plus it was a top of the line car. When it comes to used, I'm always looking for, is that a top of the line car? If it is, then a little more care might have been taken care of. And I might be dreaming, but anyhow, the transmission went out. Luckily, we had a transmission shop about 3 blocks down the road from where our house was at, and they did this thing where you you bring yours in, and they had one already rebuilt, and it was the core,
Oh, okay.
and they already had one rebuilt and ready to go. So that worked out real good, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But the only problem, you have to ask Liz about this. It was like 20. No, I'd say it was probably about 10 degrees below zero. I jacked this car up in my driveway, and I get the transmission out, and I'm underneath. You know, of course, I've got stuff that I'm wearing to keep me warm, but I'm underneath. But I don't have like a transmission jack. You know, they got these little jacks that you can put it up there, unbolt it, bring it back down. No, I lowered it onto me and scooted my butt out. Got that one out, and then put it back on me, and the other one on, and scooted it back under.
That is hardcore.
Oh, it was hard. That's what you did when you didn't have any money. And I raised it up with my knees, and I just needed to get that one bolt on the bell housing, and I did. Yeah, and it worked good. I got it all hooked up and drove that mother. I was talking about this yesterday. I looked at Liz. I said, "You remember the day?" Because we were watching a show in this Caprice Classic station wagon pulls up, and it was pretty much the same year as mine. And I'm like, "Remember the days when we had that?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I says, and I would threaten the kids, because the kids, if they didn't, it's time to go to school. I'd tell them, I'm like, if you don't hurry up, I'm going to take you in that. Boy, would they kick butt. They did not want to be seen in that car. So,
and then once you dropped them off, bye kids, we'll see you later, love, and things like that.
And then go pick them up with
Yeah, then go pick them up.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Jason would probably ignore him. I'll walk home. But anyhow, that Subaru, here's a story for you, okay? We had some friends that lived on the base. Her husband was Air Force. He was in the comptroller office. And but anyhow, you know what? I think we were still living on base at the time. Yeah. And what happened? What it was is wintertime, and we'd gone downtown to go to church. Okay, and so what had happened during the week? There, when you're driving down 83 to go to Minot, there was this, old church out there, sitting out there about, a mile and a half off the highway.
Okay.
And it was one of those cool, you see them out there, it's got the big steeple and stuff, probably good old Lutheran church shit one time.
Probably.
Well, what had happened was some African American folks from the base, they leased that church for their, for their services and stuff like that. Well, who cares? No big deal, right? Well, some people did care. And
I hate people.
yeah, I did too. And some guys went out there and they spray painted, folks hanging, and all the N-word stuff and all this kind of crap on the side of the building there. And so we had picked up, I can't think of her name, we picked up this friend of ours to go to church with us that night.
At this church?
No, downtown to our church.
Oh, okay.
But everybody, it had become news. It was local news that talked about it and stuff like this. And so we went down to church. We're coming back, and her name was James. Last name, I can't think of her first name. But anyhow, she's African American, right? Small, skinny, sweetheart. Had 2 kids, and so we're coming back, and I was telling her about this, and she goes, "Oh, that sounds horrible." I said, "Yeah, it is." I says, "You mind if it's dark now, okay? You mind if we just go down and just look at it? I'll just pull into the parking lot and we'll just look at it." And she says, "Yeah, okay." I think she was a little bit curious too. So we pull in, and there it was. It was just awful. All the stuff that they had done on this building. We pulled in, and I'm like, "Oh, that's just horrible." And she goes, "Let's get out of here."
Oh.
I'm like, Yeah, okay, all right. She got real nervous. Okay, and I can understand. And so I says, okay, so there's a little path around the back that you can get back on this road and get back on the highway, right?
Okay.
So I come around the back of the building, and there had been a little bit of snow that had blown into the path, right?
Oh.
And I'm thinking, no big deal. Put it in 4-wheel drive. God, it's stuck. And I couldn't
I
get
can
out.
imagine her stress level went up.
Oh, no, you didn't have to imagine. She started halfway yelling, "Get out of here! We gotta get out of here, Joe! We got to get out of here!" And I'm like, okay. Well, I says, I got out and tried to, get it loose. I couldn't get that Subaru loose, and Liz is in there. Everybody's fine in the car,
Right.
but God, I wish I could remember her name. But she's freaking out, and like I said, I can understand.
It's understandable.
Yeah, and so I said, look, like here's the church, and there's a farmhouse here, and a farmhouse here, right across the road, where the road went right by the church.
Right.
And I said, look, I'm going to go over to this house and see if they can't help us.
Right.
And this is, I don't know, it was dark. It was probably about close to 9 o'clock, and which in North Dakota, that would have been, dark for like 3-4 hours.
Right.
So I get out. I said, I'll be right back and see if I can't get somebody to help me. And I get out, and next thing I know, I hear a door slam on the car, and she gets out and she says, I'm going with you. I said, yeah, that's right. Abandon your children and my wife and my kids. So we
Got priorities here.
now think about this. It's North Dakota. It's about 9:30. We walk up to this house, and there's a bunch of cars in the yard and stuff like that. Definitely something going on inside. I knock on the door, and this lady opens the door, and she looks at us. And so here's a white guy and a black woman standing there, and I look, and they've got this big poker game going. And she goes, "Oh, come in," and we walk in, and I says, I've got my car stuck behind the church over here, and it was great. All these guys get up and said, "Well, let's go get it unstuck."
Nice.
And we walked out there, went out there. We just thought, it wasn't very far, so we all just walked back to the car, and they just literally pushed me back.
Nice.
And I get out, I'm like, I can't thank you enough. They're like, no problem.
Yeah.
Went back to their poker game.
Poker game every Wednesday night.
Yeah. I wish they had invited me. I'm not. So, I mean, people think of North Dakota or the rural states and stuff like that are, they're not good people. There's lots of great people. And, I mean, it reminds me when we first moved to North Dakota, I went duck hunting with a friend of mine, and he was in the Air Force. He was from Minot. And he took me duck hunting and showed me a little bit about the ropes up there. I mean, up there, they don't necessarily sit at they don't look for a slough. They don't have to. They're literally flying over by droves, So,
Right.
so you can just set up in a field, put some decoys out and stuff like that. Pop you some ducks. And so I thought, well, I can do this. I don't have any decoys, but except the day that we went, it was nice and cloudy, and clouds were low, and lots of ducks. So I told Liz, I says, I'm going to go duck hunting. You want to go with me? Sure. So we go duck hunting.
All right, Liz, go out there into the pasture and stand there.
So we drive north of the of town, or the base there, and I find a spot just out in it's just a wheat field, and I've got a camouflage poncho, military poncho, and so we just kind of hid underneath it. Now think about this: I'm hunting with Dad's old 16 gauge single shot shotgun,
Right, bro?
right? And
That was a good time.
clear day. So the ducks are now at 50,000 feet. They're not going to be flying low because, and so I didn't know any of this stuff. So we get out there, and course, I'm a poor airman, and I ran out of gas. And
I thought my lawnmower stories were well.
no, I had
You guys need more coffee?
you bet,
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're standing outside the car, and I'm like, well, this was really this is like, what are we doing? We're sitting underneath a poncho and nothing's happening, right? You know, and now you're out of gas. I'm going to go home to my mama, and she should have, but. But anyhow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Anyhow, these guys pull up in a pickup truck, and I says, "Man, I'm out of gas." I says, "I've got a couple bucks. If I could just borrow enough, buy a little gas off you." And he says, "Come on with us." And they put us in the truck. We went up to their folks' farmhouse. Went in there eating breakfast. Hey, come have some breakfast with us.
Love it.
And so we're having breakfast, and the dad's like, "Yeah, well, we'll get you set up and get you some gas." And I said, "Well, I only have this much. You don't need money." And
It's such a treat to find people like
Oh, yeah,
that.
yeah.
And you'll
And
find them anywhere.
so they filled up actually they gave me 5 gallons of gas.
Wow.
And went back to the car and everything. And I
Which
told
would have been about $2.
yeah,
back then.
yeah. We're talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
And of course, I thanked them for everything, the folks and stuff like that. Appreciated the breakfast and everything. And I think they just felt sorry for Liz. If it was me by myself, oh, that's an airman, just forget it.
Yeah.
He can die out here.
Uh-huh.
And but anyhow, we went and filled the car or put gas in the car and everything. And just before these guys were going to leave, they go, "So you were duck hunting?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh well, hell, we got 3 of them in the back here. You can have them." So I got my ducks.
Didn't even waste a shot.
Nope. Drove home. I'm like, I like this place. So yeah, I had that was a good. Met so many great people up there.
And that's what makes it all worthwhile is when you meet people that are just hospitable. They're just good people. You just know. They just wear it on themselves. I love that.
Yep.
It's so refreshing.
You've got to take care of your neighbor.
Yeah.
You've got to take care of other Americans. You've got to be there for them. I mean, in North Dakota, up north up there, you see somebody in distress and there's bad weather, you don't dare pass them up. Ever.
No, because they could be dead within an hour.
Yeah, if you got caught passing them up, they will throw you in jail. Well, be manslaughter.
That's dangerous climate up there.
Yep. But anyhow, that was when we had that cabin up there. My next door neighbor, their last name was Savicle, and they had the car dealership, the Ford car dealership in Mulhall, North Dakota. And you talk about great guys. Love those people. And he'd come down to their cabin, and like one day he'd come down and they it was the first year of the Ford Explorer, and he's driving a Ford Explorer, and they were small at that time, and I'm like, wow, that is an awesome truck or car. He says, yeah, hey, you guys take it for a drive. Take it up to Mulhall and have some coffee and stuff. I'm like, okay. So we drove around and everything. It was a great car. I enjoyed it. But he'd do that every once in a while. Yeah, I got another car for you to check out. Sure, I'm sure he was trying to sell it to me. But
Selling, yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, they were good people. Lots of good people.
What is this? What you want, honey?
I was just thinking, a lot of my clients are senior citizens and stuff, and you'll be surprised
No
how
friends?
friendly and generous, and I mean, just like the people you were describing around here.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing here.
And what I discovered, all of them just want to visit. Just want to visit.
Well, trust me, not me.
Well, the thing is that for me, taking that time to do that and enjoying doing that meant a lot to me, meant a lot to them. I just, there's just a lot of there's a lot of good people around. That's great.
Well, I wish I could be one.
Get up.
I mean,
Get
I
up
put
my
a ring
yard
on.
unless you got a mower.
I put a ring on my front door so that when I'm sitting in the back and somebody, I get to check them out. No, I ain't answering that door.
It's kind of like the phone. I don't know that number.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If it's important, leave me a voicemail. It's set up.
But the nice thing is nobody comes over. And nowadays it's like you don't dare come over 5 o'clock on. Who in the world would come over here at 5:30?
Do you know that we're in bed by 6? I went to bed at 6 last night, 6:30.
Oh my goodness.
I was tired. After working my nephew to the bone, almost killing him.
I would.
It takes a lot of work.
Boy, look at the temperatures. 97, 98, 99, 98, 88, 89, 90. Oh, looks like a little cooling off there.
Yay.
But
I got my lawnmower, so I'm good.
before electricity came to Arkansas, before we got the broadband, there was a certain time, because we had DirecTV, so
Right.
there was a certain time that I'd start watching things that I want to watch, and Liz would go to bed and watch. She'd lay in the bed and watch whatever she was watching, which was Hallmark and L&M and stuff like that. And so, I kind of like that. Go up there, I'll be up there later, blah, blah, blah. So now, I don't know. She watches some shows that are similar, but I don't think she's watched a Hallmark anything since we got
The curtain has been pulled back.
and we're always looking for some series. Like right now, we're working on The Blacklist. You ever watch that?
Blacklist, yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe there's 10 seasons of that because there's like 47 episodes in every season.
I know.
And
I've gone through it though.
oh, did you?
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
gone
don't tell me
through
where.
it. No.
And so we're going through that, but we've gone through series. We started on Dexter again because we watched all of Dexter before.
That's a good series.
Oh, I like Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter is a good series.
But it's kind of like, oh, well, we've seen it, and we saw, I think, the first 2 seasons of The Blacklist, and then didn't get to see it anymore. And now we're on season 4, and it's like, who writes this stuff? You know what I mean? Wow, how can you? Who thinks like that? But
as long as we can keep it from going on strike.
yeah. But anyhow, that's where we're at now. And the problem is how I like the fact that she'd go to bed and all this stuff. She don't do that anymore. She stays right down there, and we decide, okay, it's bedtime. Oh, look, it's 11:30 now. We can go for another one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I immediately wake up at 5 in the morning.
I was up at 3 this morning.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the same in our household too. Karen's up in her nest. She's got the TV going on something. she's got her phone. She's down a YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so she's doing that and keeping track of what's on the TV. I'm down in the kitchen on my tablet. And that's, headphones on, and that's what I do. And I'm going down YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I put headphones on because if Liz is watching something that
I can do that. If I'm going to go and watch a movie or something, I'll go into the computer room and I'll put headphones on there because, heaven forbid, I disturb the nest.
Hey, I'm glad you like that smoking station. I'm not trying to propagate that.
Advocate.
But the thing is what you said something about Art Deco that last time we were together, and I'm like, I gotta see if he wants that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I bought that thing, and I had every intentions of doing something with it, and I looked at that and I'm like, God, I don't want to pack that. I don't want to, I'm just lazy.
Well, I think what I want to do is find out the best way to clean it and then put it in there.
Look for some kind of aluminum cleaner because all that is oxidation on it.
Yeah.
And if you do it right, and then what you do is maybe take a very soft,
like a terry cloth.
Well, I'd say a little more harsh than that, but something that you could, even some kind of a brush of some sort, not wire,
Right.
but
Not brass.
Yeah. And my favorite cleaner is toothpaste. Yeah, because it's got just enough abrasion into it. You know where I learned that? When I was in basic in the Air Force. They wouldn't let us have like a big shaver. They made us, in my day, it had to be one with put the razor in and those old, we all had to go to the 80s and buy our stuff.
The double blade.
Yeah. Well, those evidently, they get, grungy and stuff like that. The guy told me, he says, just take your toothbrush and just brush it up and it'll polish it right up. And it does. I use toothpaste to polish a lot of things up. And it's, like I said, it's a mild abrasive.
Right.
So the best one is like a whitening or teeth whitening.
Yeah.
Because that's got a little more, abrasion, and it has.
Because it takes off that first layer of your enamel.
Yeah. It also has peroxide in it, so that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. Anyhow, you decide what you want to do with it, but I just, like I said, I got it, and I was kind of excited about it because, I don't buy much Art Deco stuff, but that one I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I get it home and I'm like, I don't want to pack this sucker up. So it's been
Well,
sitting.
I got the perfect place for it, and that's right by the front door. I had Dad's burial jack there, and that,
Yeah.
but it's over here now, and it's the little bookcase. Or no, what was over here was that little cabinet. That's over there now, and I think it would look good sitting by that because it's the walnut veneer.
Look at you,
I've already got it planned out.
already got it thinking.
You just got to get it purified, get it all cleaned up. But I don't want to approach that until I have some.
Yeah.
I want to do it right.
Yeah. But anyhow, that's, like I said, I got it back, and that's when I realized I let my romance get to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that is so cool. I want it. Nah. I don't want to pack it and ship it. I can just imagine what had happened. Yeah, it broke in half, and you're going to have to refund me. And
No.
so, latest eBay thing. Okay. Okay. So I picked up this Kodak EasyShare digital camera, right? And this sucker was beat, man. I mean, looked like the kids used it. Yeah, I can kill flies. And it was scraped and scratched, and the display in the back had a line running through it. And I pointed all that out. It operated, but what I didn't check, and lesson learned, is what I didn't check is that it would transfer, you know, the key, the what you call it card, the SD card. It, evidently, the mechanism that transfers onto that didn't work. Okay. Well, you know, it's not in good shape, but I put it up, you know, sell it for $15 and.
Take the SD card out and pop it in the computer.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the guy, you know, the guy said it was broken or something. Yeah. And, you know, items like that always put sold as is. I don't guess people understand that. And eBay doesn't either, because if he wants to challenge it, I'll have to pay him back. So I don't even mess around, just fine. You know, but they have to send it back to me. So it's going to cost them. But, you know, I sent a message to him and I said, look, I've got a really nice Kodak EasyShare, perfect shape, works great, all of it works, and you know, still has the box and everything, you know, and I got it, you know, for sale for $45 best offer, you know, I'll take $25 for it, you know. But I sent him a picture of that. I said, I've got this if you know, really. He comes back and he says, well, thanks, but no. You know, I got this for my grandson. I'm thinking, you cheap ass. He bought that piece of
EasyShare.
Yeah, piece of
Walmart bought one for $40.
well, piece of crap, and this is what you're going to get your grandson. He said, well, I'm just going to give my grandson one of my cameras. Loser. I'm like, whatever. Send me the camera. I'll refund it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't count. Well, you got plenty of coffee.
I'm good.
No, don't even.
Oh, you saw the tear roll down mine.
No, I saw that. I heard that.
He said, you don't deserve it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's how it works. The squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's my latest. Oh, and another one. I sold this. It's really cool looking. It comes in a wooden case and everything. It's got the little doily things etched in it, you know, on the aluminum and stuff like that. It's a Lindbergh field phone. Okay, yeah, it's really cool looking. Here, let me show you. Got a picture? Yeah. And so.
Those are nice looking glasses you got.
Yeah, these are my Hellhole glasses. I forgot to grab my other ones, so I thought, yeah.
Those are the ones you don't go out in public with?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah, whatever.
I'd love to go out in public.
Look at
those. Those are beautiful.
They bring out the color of his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, hazel.
Great.
Okay, let's see here. Let's get to it. So anyhow, they bought this thing, and no big deal, but they asked me to hold off on shipping because they bid on something else of mine, right? And
So they're like, wait, if we win the bid on your two items, they'll throw them in one box, right?
Well, they want to combine the bidding, combine the shipping, you know, which, okay, fine. So this is what it looks like. Pretty cool looking, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at the inside here. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So
look at the world map on
yeah.
Kind of cool.
Clock doesn't work. I don't care.
What?
There's a clock right there. I didn't test it, so I don't care. But anyhow, so I noticed. So I'm looking at their handle and everything, this person's handle, and I noticed she has bought and sold 15,861 items on eBay.
She's a flipper.
She's something. And I'm like, so, here, I should have the message here. Let's see if I got the message. Let's see. Well, anyhow, I get a message from them, and they go, let's see.
It's gone. It's in the paper.
Well, anyhow, they okay, yeah, it says hello, thank you so much. And if you can, please hold it until we're done bidding, as we are bidding on another item ending in 5 days. It's a letter opener. It's letter openers, and if you're willing, I wanted to correct them. I wanted to say you are, but they go you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that discredits the whole message.
I know. I'm like, oh, I want to do that, but no, I don't want to screw up anything. If you're willing to end the auction, and if you're willing to end the auction with the high bidder as the winner, and do a partial refund on shipping, thanks. So they wanted me to end on the letter openers, okay? And at that time they bid $850 on it, right? Well, it's $1250.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I didn't even respond to it. I'm just like, whatever. And
No, now you're dipping into my revenue source.
yeah, and they must have so much going because I get this message yesterday. It says, "Hello, we wanted to see you when our Spirit of St. Louis Mark 4 field phone, telephone, blah 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 will be shipped and have a tracking number. Do you have a tracking number? We purchased this July 9th. Okay, and I'm thinking, well, you asked me to hold it, and I'm holding it.
Yeah.
You know, well, then they come back and they go, hello again, we're sorry, please disregard our email as we forgot that we had asked you to hold it. Because I was just about to tell them and then I saw this one. They go, sorry, we're old and older, thanks. So
Hey, at least they owned up to it.
yeah,
That's fair. That's fair. My bad.
That's why you were so excited. You told me about it first thing.
I turned, but I can't turn my head.
it's meningitis.
Oh, it's old.
So anyhow, we that's been my thing.
Oh man.
So yeah, that should be ended today. They've got other bidders on it, so we'll see what happens. So
Well, they didn't win. Have they won the bid on the phone?
oh yeah, it's theirs.
Okay, they got that.
It's, but normally when you sell something on eBay, you got 4 days to ship it.
Yeah.
Well, it's past it, and I've got messages from eBay. You better ship this, buddy. I'm like, well, okay. I might make up the shipping thing today, but
Did they? So the auction for the letter openers is still ongoing.
yeah, it ends today.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, see if they're the winners, and yeah. And here's your stupid phone, and here's your letter opener. Take that.
Yeah, just get it out of here.
Get this crap out of here. I got other crap to sell.
Yeah, I'm doing another fire sale.
Or give to my brother. Yeah, I'm gonna give this to my brother. He'll take it. Ooh, shiny.
Well, I tell you, I have learned so much over the year, and what it's amazing. When I first started, man, it's like all romantic. Oh, of course, if I love that. I know everybody in the world will love it.
Yeah.
I'll mark it up 100%, and then you finally send it to Salvation Army and lose money on it.
Yeah. When you have to resort to a tax write-off
Well, here's
for
the deal.
charitable contribution.
And even my thinking, my prejudice on different organizations. I mean, I love the Salvation Army.
Right.
They did me real good during the flood up in North Dakota, and they were the best. Okay. And so I have an affinity towards Salvation Army, and I always want to give to them as much as I possibly can. Right?
Okay.
But you go to Texarkana, and they get all real picky about the stuff that you
Donating?
Yeah, and I'm like, So I wouldn't do Goodwill because that's a private company. That's
That's
not.
right.
I mean, it is a 501c3,
Yeah.
but you know, it's a private company, and and they're the ones that have kind of ruined it for guys like me to go in and buy stuff, you know, to ship, to flip, because they do what I do. They go in there and we'll mark it up to that much, you know. Well, okay, I don't even go in Goodwill, but they're the easiest to download, and I can still get a receipt. So I just go in. Yeah, here you go. There, give me a receipt. See you later. Much easier.
Well,
Sorry, Salvation Army.
and to their credit, to Salvation's credit, I mean, you know, if we have to have the expense of sending it to the dump,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, and you know, I don't give them, you know, crap. I mean, it's stuff that they can literally resell.
right?
You know, but it's just that on my platform, it's not going to move. You know,
Yeah,
I know that,
yeah,
and that's what I've learned: what moves and what doesn't. And,
Right.
and man, I wanted that data when I first started because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I bought a lot of stuff that, you know, I did download some of it, but not all of it.
Well,
And
you become seasoned.
at the beginning, it was like Liz. She was over romantic. Oh, look at that! Oh. And next thing I know, it's in the basket, and we're buying it. And no, worse than me. So I don't like it. I don't take her.
I just stay out of those
But
places.
I've taught her a lot, and she's getting an eye for it too. You know.
Well, you guys are
You know, the beauty of
becoming desensitized to the
everything.
Yeah.
We went to an estate sale the other day. It's her cousin's. This woman spent her life buying crap.
Yeah.
Okay, and I call it crap. As a matter of fact, one of her daughters called it crap the other day when we were in her house. And see, that's one of the things I learned about estate sales. If they've got a company that's doing the estate sale, I might as well not even show up,
Yeah.
because they do the same thing. They mark everything up. As a matter of fact, they mark it up at least, you know, 100% more than its actual worth, because on their last day they're going to sell everything for 50%.
Right.
Okay, and that doesn't do me any good. I've got price point. I have to play with. You know, I have to play with it
Right.
if I'm going to do anything. And so we went to the estate sale because it's her cousin, and this thing was massive. I mean, it was unbelievable. The stuff that she was selling was just the stuff that she wasn't going to take with her. She's got a house in Texarkana that's just loaded with all the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
I guess good stuff.
Any chance you'll get to that? No.
I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, you know, and I mean, it's Liz's first cousin. I like her, but it's all just crap to me, all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'll give you a couple.
Well, if you can't flip it, there's no good to you.
Yeah, it's no good, so I'm not even interested. So we went the first day because I identified some things, and I wanted to, just take a look at it. It was exactly what I expected. Everybody, they had run the price up big time. I was looking. She had two Terry Redland. You remember Terry Redland? He did these soft, cozy farm scenes, camping scenes, fishing scenes and stuff. That back in I'd say in the '90s, everybody was hot on it, and they do still have value and everything. But like the two that she had, when I looked it up, people were listing them for around 110 to 180, and then you go to what has sold, and they were like at 85 to 125 or whatever.
Okay.
So for me, the most I'm going to pay is $65.
I was thinking 65 or 70.
The most I'm going to pay, and I would have paid it.
Yeah.
They had these things marked up to $200. And one was $250, and the other one was $259. And so Okay, we go on the last day because Liz wanted to get something.
That's for people who want to put it in their house.
Yeah. And that's kind of what those are about. Those estate sales where they have the company. My favorite estate sale is somebody says, we're having an estate sale because I want to get rid of my mom and dad's crap. Just come in, And those are okay because you don't have somebody that's, researching every single thing that they've got to optimize.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I understand that, but this woman don't need that money. She's a millionaire.
Yeah.
And she's 80 years old.
Yeah.
And but it's her prerogative, so I'm not.
Spend a little, lady.
Yeah, well, and
I'm good.
I think I'll be warmed up a little bit more. Yeah, very good, thank you. So anyhow, that's my thing on estate sales. That's why I love auctions.
Yeah.
Because look, they're getting rid of this stuff. If they have to sell it to you for $1, they're going to sell it. As a matter of fact, there's some people that when I go to these auctions, there's some people that they have that they give the okay at the end, that can we just, when we get done, nobody bidding, can we just sell it to you for $1? Yeah, sure, fine. These people walk out with, piles of crap, but, they might, there's a little magic in there, I get it, but they're there to get rid of it. That's why, I told Liz, I says, never an estate sale, always an auction.
Yeah.
I mean, get rid of it, My kids don't need this stuff. They're going to take what they want at the beginning anyway, so good for them.
And that's, exactly, Connie and Anita and Travis, it's like, we'll take Mom's shiny stuff.
Yeah.
We'll leave the rest of the family for you guys to deal with. And it's like, you know what? I'm gonna have to send a blast out to them and say, you've got this long.
Well, and you know what you should do is just take it down to that thrift store behind where Chris's shop was at.
The pawn shop?
Yeah, there's a thrift store right next to it. Take it there, leave it on the porch.
Yeah. And I went in and talked to one of the ladies in there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. I took something down there. And the resistance I have to that is I don't want to dump a bunch of, I don't know what I consider throwaway stuff. They may be able to.
Yeah. Don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
If it's like clothing, make sure it's clean. Don't give them a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
But you would be surprised what people can, what people want. I mean.
Well, that's what she says. She says what we really want is men's clothing.
Men's clothing.
Men's clothing.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't wear any of those sports jackets, those button-ups, ties, slacks. She just bag it all up and give it to her.
That's right. They'll find a place for it, and it's not. It's just down the street from you, and make it convenient for you.
Yeah. But there's a lot of pictures, Diane, and things like that are I would consider personal mementos, but I don't know. I don't want to store it anymore.
Yeah. Well, don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
I think what I'll do is I'll grab Karen. Now that we got the ghetto box organized and everything that is Diane's is over in the back, go through it and say, all right, we'll get rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
And send the pictures to Anita or something like that. Call it good. Yeah.
So, you mentioned Anita. Andrea and Chris made their tour. It's my understanding they went through 3 alternators. 4? 3?
No, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Chris can get one installed, removed and installed in 34 minutes.
Yeah. Well, when you're an expert.
Yeah.
God, that just drives me crazy.
Kara's told me, I'm like, why is he burning through so many dead gum oil? I don't know. Is it due to the trailer being pulled? Or?
Well, it might be. I mean, it's a Tahoe, right? Yeah. I mean, Tahoe's just a truck. It's on a truck frame. So I don't know. And I don't know how big the trailer is, but it didn't look very big, so probably not that big a deal. Well, it's not as bad as what my son did. Jason, he bought a brand new Ford lift kit, all the guy thing, kind of truck, and decided to rent a trailer and and do some stuff like that. And I don't think he made it. I think he made it almost to Tahoe or someplace, and finally had to drop the trailer and have the company come get it because I don't think he knows how to drive it.
Oh.
I mean, I think he had problems driving this thing.
Oh, God.
So he's not that apt to do that. He might think he is, of course, but I don't think he is. Well, and there's a lot more to it than just. There's a lot more to it than just driving along with it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that always. All this stuff that I
You
used to.
gotta feel it.
Yeah.
You got to feel that trailer and how it's pulling on you, how it's swaying on you.
I remember, we went through the flood, and because the house was basically useless from the first floor, down.
Yeah.
We had one bedroom upstairs, but all the kids' bedrooms were on the first floor, so everything was ruined. We had to work on that. So they were giving deals on trailers, and so we bought that 26-footer that Ted finally ended up with.
Right.
Mary bought it out from me. So here I've got a trailer. So I had a class. A hospital safety class in Little Rock, and I decided, hey, let's just let's make a little vacation out of it. I drove that trailer down, and had the mom and Liz in the car with the kids chasing me, down the freeway with the Oldsmobile, and we set that trailer up. But what you need to do is drive through the Midwest and go through thunderstorms. That rain is like being poured on you, and it's so heavy that you have to pull under an underpass.
Oh yeah.
And I'm driving this, pulling this trailer, and that's the kind of stuff teaches you about driving a trailer.
Right. Right.
And but anyhow, we set it up at Swaha, and then I went on up to Little Rock and did my course up there. And we made it a 2-week. When I got done with that, we made it a 2-week, trip.
Right.
Cool things with that trip. You know how it is down here in the summer. We're at Swaha, and it's at night, and we walk over to the facilities, and I've got Jeremy. I guess it was Jeremy and. Jeremy and Clint was with me. And no, I think Tio was with me too. So we walked in there, and it's a night, and they've got those lights on and everything, and every frickin' bug in the forest is in there. And we come around the corner, and we're like, oh, stop. It's like, oh my God, look at these. Jeremy's like, I'm not going in there. I'll poop outside. I'll poop in the trailer, And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of rough. But then I'm like half entomologist, so I'm like, oh, look at that one, that's kind of cool. Look at that. Look at this thing. I bet it can kill you. And I'm telling Jeremy, all these bugs can kill you, Jeremy. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, if you eat enough of them.
Yeah, and if you go in there and poop, they're gonna call up your butt.
But one of the stories came out of that little trip was it was nighttime. They had their flashlights, and they run onto this armadillo. And he's on this trail that run right down to the lake, right? And they started chasing this thing, and it's running down the trail and everything. And they chase it right to the water. And when it gets to the water, Clint's like standing right there, and it goes to the water, and it literally, I don't know if you know this, those things can jump this high.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And this thing jumped right in front of Clint. He fell back and dropped his flashlight and everything, and then it took off and everything. And well, they couldn't wait to tell me about it. Oh my God, Dad, you should have seen this thing jump. It jumped 7 feet in the air. Yeah, it wasn't going in the water. And you got it cornered, so that was kind of fun. And then learned something on that trip, where we set the trailer. We put the landing jacks down, no big deal. About the third night, I wake up and I'm like, what in the world? I'm being bit all over. Turn on the light and look, and ants had come into the trailer through the landing gear.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, they bit the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So I learned that, okay, when you put the landing gear out in the rough,
Don't put it on a fire ant.
no, I mean, obviously they smelled food or something. I would have known that. I would have never dropped it on it. It might have been one close. Probably was one close. But, after that, I'd always have some spray and spray it down with, insecticide and keep the ants out.
Yeah. Diesel.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was quite a trip. I learned a lot about hospital safety, though, because I'm on an installation. I had a hospital.
Yeah.
I needed to know what was right and what was wrong.
And you learn that you're probably more likely to get sick inside that hospital than you are outside.
Oh, that's a gimme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had to inspect it.
Yeah.
Every year we had to inspect the hospital. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at, but I did after that.
Is that black hole in the hallway? Well.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff.
So we gotta figure out a day to go fishing.
Can we look for a cool date? Or at least
Is there one coming?
Let's find a place that's at least in the shade.
Well, go early enough.
Yeah.
That way you're done by 10.
So the way I understand it, I can get a lifetime fishing
Well,
license. I'll go to Walmart and ask for that. I can look it up.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone and they said, yeah, I paid $65. You get a lifetime. Was that Fred? I don't remember. Someone. But yeah.
So you need to tell Fred, when I was in Texas, one of the guys that worked for me took me, he and his wife took me fishing out. Well, I went with him. He did the fishing, okay? And at some lake outside of San Angelo there. And he tied on to a striper bass. It was a hybrid. I learned that day.
Hybrid.
Yeah, hybrids. If you look at a pure striper, the stripes are all solid all the way across.
Yeah.
But a hybrid's going to have stripes that are solid, but then some are going to be a little mismatched. Kind of broken up a little bit. That's a hybrid.
It was made in China.
Yeah, it was made in China. So Texas has this cool program. If you catch a record fish, what they want you to do is, don't let it die.
Yeah.
They will, Texas Game and Fish will come and pick it up, and then what they do is they will milk it or get the eggs out of it and stuff like that, and because it's a good line, good fish line, breed or whatever, and then they I guess you call it eugenics, Texas eugenics program. But what they do, if you catch a record, they want the fish to use it to make other fish out of this really good fish that you got. Well, he's out there fishing and everything. I'm talking to I can't think of her name. Lydia was her name. Lydia. But everybody called her Squirrel. And the reason, I said, so why do they call you Squirrel when we first met? And Greg, God, I can't think of his last name. Greg goes, well, when I first met her, he said, I said something about that girl's got a fine tail. And so they called her Squirrel from then on. But anyhow, he caught this fish, big old striper, okay? And a matter of fact, I waded out into the lake to get it, and then we held it and everything. And he went and got a cooler so we could put it in a cooler of water. And then we took it up. They had a like a game and fish station for the lake there, and probably state parks or something like that. I forgot what it was. But we took it in, and they're like, yeah, let's weigh this thing. And it was a lake record. It was the lake record at that point. Of course, 3 days later it got broken, but that was.
But that day,
I had the Lake Record, Texas, whatever the lake was, in my hand. So you tell nephew that.
And then they milked it and killed it, and you didn't get nothing out of it.
Well, I didn't
Or
get
he
anything out of it.
didn't get anything out of it.
No, he was just proud.
Yeah. They could have at least threw in money for taxidermy or something like that. Or gutted it, skinned it for him.
I know I've told this story many times. Greg was the guy. He was on my staff. He's military. Okay. And he's the guy that told me that he was deathly afraid of flying.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know it until we went to Pensacola to inspect our school down there. And we're sitting in a Saab 640. You ever flying one of those? They're a twin prop, turbo prop, and they've got a bench seat at the very back. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And he took that immediately, and I'm sitting one seat up from him. We're talking and everything, and we're taxiing. When the engine started and everything, we're still talking, and it's taxiing out, and I'm talking, and I'm not getting any response, and talking and everything, and I look back there, and it's lining up to take off, and he's like this, gripping the chair like this. I looked at him, what's wrong with you? And he said, I told you I hate flying. And he told me later, I says, I don't get this. You were a crew chief on a C-130, and you were afraid of flying. He says, and he told me the whole story, how he managed that. He says, and oh, by the way, I kept Dramamine in business.
I kept Dramamine in business. That's funny.
But on that trip, we went over to. He asked me. He says, "Hey, mind if we go over to Biloxi? I want to go see my outlaws." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let's take over. Let's go over to Biloxi." And so we drove over to Biloxi. It's not very far from Pensacola, and went over there and met his mother-in-law and father-in-law. But we're in the house and everything. And he showed me. He says, "This is where Squirrel was born and raised. She, in this house, and she had never left Biloxi until I came along.
Oh.
Ever.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? He says, yeah, changed her life. And he told me, he said, they were stationed, when they got married, he got stationed at Hill Air Force Base. And he said, they were living on base, and the housing was just off of the runway. And he said every time we'd take off, he said we'd take off, and I'd look to see if the car was there, because she really had a hard time, dealing with. I'm in Utah. I've never been out of Mississippi.
Yeah.
I've never been out of Biloxi. And now, so that's kind of the life. It's kind of what happened with Liz. It's amazing. She didn't leave. But he said when we'd come flying back in, I'd always look down and there. Oh, there's the car. Still with
She's
me.
still with me. That's what I'm thinking.
But
She hasn't gone home.
yeah, it was. But anyhow, we were over with his folks' place, and we're talking to his dad, our father-in-law, and everything, and his mother-in-law comes in, and she's just a cuss. Oh my God, I can't believe it's got blah 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 blah. And Greg goes, what's the problem? They raised the price on shrimp. Because they buy their shrimp, they just go down to shrimp boats and buy their shrimp, right? Yeah. They raised the price of shrimp. And he goes, well, how much? $6.25 a pound. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God.
$6.25 a pound.
Yeah.
What was she getting at?
I think like $4.80 or something
Holy
like
smoke.
that. Yeah.
That's a big jump, though.
Oh yeah. But she just couldn't believe it. And he goes, well, did you buy it? Hell no, I'm gonna buy it for that price. I'm like, wow.
I'll throw my own net in.
I'd done 100 pounds easily. So, but anyhow, it's kind of fun. Neat folks, good folks. In Biloxi, they have casinos, and one of the casinos belonged to a guy out of North Dakota, Inglestead. His name was Inglestead. He was originally from Thief River Falls, or I think Thief River. It's close there. It's another town. But anyhow, he went to school at University of North Dakota, played hockey and all this stuff. He's the reason they have like the best college hockey rink in the country, because he stuck $120 million into a hockey rink in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and it's top of the line. Wow. And plus, he's got an endowment to maintain that thing.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's a really, really cool facility. But he built this casino down. I can't think of the name of his casinos. He had one in Vegas. And I've been to both of them now. He had one in Vegas and he had one in Biloxi. And in Biloxi, there was a law or a regulation that you couldn't build your building any taller than like 12 stories, or I think 12 stories. Okay? You pull up to this thing and it's got 14 stories on it. Here's how it works. It's one of those. It's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. And he had them build this thing 14 stories. And, everything's going great. Everybody's enjoying the fact new building, new casino, blah, blah, blah. And so some inspector walks up and goes, hey, that's 14 stories. You can't build 14 stories.
Oh, what do you know?
Well, they had to let him
My
out.
bad.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, that's like in Salem. You could not have a building. In Salem, the Capitol has the gold, always call them the golden dislocated worker.
Yeah.
Timber worker.
Well, I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, you can't build a building higher than him. He has to stand prominent in Salem.
So who is that guy? Is it just
some
Joseph
dislocated
Smith?
timber worker.
Is it Joseph Smith in disguise?
I don't know. I remember one time, this was during the fall of the timber industry. I guess it was.
Well, that started in the
90.
70s.
Well, where the dislocated, mills were shutting down left and right. And I was going into, I think it was a public service building. I worked in ODOT at that time, and public service was next door. So I was walking in there, and there was a tourist mom. It was a mom and her little child, a little boy. And as we were walking in kind of together, he goes, Mom, who's the gold man up there on top of that building there? And I looked and I said, that's Oregon's first dislocated worker, their timber worker right there, son. walked on in just chugging. Yeah, but in Salem, you can't build any structures that are higher than the dislocated timber worker.
How about that?
Yeah. My friend and musician Bob Auld, he was facilities manager of the Capitol, and they were putting new gold on him. You know, the leaf, gold leaf, and he was able to get a piece of that leaf, which was probably about 0.002 cents worth of leaf. But this came off, and I'd tell him that, you know, our first timber dislocated worker. I got this off the dislocated worker.
Yeah, that's like that guy I met, Wolfram. He was an Oregonian. He was a Navy SEAL. He's if you ever want to see him, get the 1969 issue of the Apollo 11, and you'll see him on top of the capsule.
Yeah.
Frogman, and he's got flowers pasted, you know, the stuff that you put in the bathtub, flowers pasted all over him. That was Wolfram, but when he first swam up to the capsule, you know, it's all endowed with all this gold foil stuff. And he grabbed a big handful of it and shoved it into his wetsuit as a momentum.
Which is about 5 cents.
Yeah, right. It's just gold foil, and it's not all gold.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the time I met him, he was a missionary, and he was selling pieces of it for $1,500, you know. Well, historical value. If I'd have had $1,500, I'd have bought a piece. And, you know, have him authenticated, obviously. But anyhow, yeah, it sounds like the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I can authenticate it. See this picture in Life magazine?
Yeah.
That's me tearing it off right there.
Yeah. You know, I had that magazine for a lot of years. And I don't know what happened. I moved so many times in years, and like, I never. But yeah. But anyhow, the Engelstead, he was quite a character. My oldest, his best friend in college. Well, they went to high school together too, but not his best friend, his second best friend, because his best friend offed himself, idiot. But this other guy, the real good guys, he ended up getting a job being I guess basically the facilities manager and coordinator for the Engelstead Arena up in Grand Forks. And so they had this, I guess a bunch of guys, a bunch of buddies, a bunch of college buddies got together and went down to Las Vegas, and they were staying at Engelstead. Wish I could remember the name of his casino. They were staying at Engelstead's casino, and his buddy, went up to the executive office and asked if he could, visit with him, and said, "Hey, I actually work for the organization and I manage the facility in North Dakota." Blah, blah, blah. Well, he got to see him. Okay, they all got to meet him. Okay, all his buddies and everything.
Now, who is this again?
The guy, Ralph. His name was Ralph Engelstead. He's the one that had the casino in Biloxi.
Oh, okay. I'm with
So they're staying at his. What was the name of it? I'll have to look that up. But anyhow, they were staying at the casino, the hotel, and got to visit with him. Okay?
Oh, nice.
And my son Jason, he said it was the weirdest thing. He says this guy drinks like a fish. And he says he always drinks his drinks with Diet Coke. And somehow explained, well, it doesn't give me a headache, and it doesn't, you're not getting the sugar,
Yeah.
So anyhow, he said, man, and smoke, oh my God, that guy could smoke, he smoked cigarettes like left and right, drink, and all this stuff, and so long story short, what happened is guys were all over here, congregated, drinking and talking, and there was. Engelstead had a bunch of his buddies, cronies and stuff like that, and Jason's buddy that was running the facility up there was talking to Engelstead, and Engelstead, and Engelstead at that time had a house in Minneapolis, okay, gated community and all that stuff. And he invited all of the guys to go with him in his private plane. He had like a DC-9 at that time to go up to Minneapolis and stuff. And his buddy, he explained this to Jason later. His buddy cut them all out, and just he went with him. Got on the plane and flew up to Minneapolis. Matter of fact, told him, says, "Yeah, you guys are on your own. I'm going to be heading to Minneapolis with him tonight." And flew up to Minneapolis. Okay, by the time Jason gets back, he was in North Dakota, Grand Forks. By the time Jason gets back, he gets a call from his buddy, and he tells him, he says, "Jason, you've got to come get me." "Why? What's wrong?" He says, "I got to get out of here. This is a weird thing."
Oh,
and I guess, we're talking about uber rich people, okay? They don't even think.
They're on a different plane.
Yeah, we can't even think like them because we haven't been conditioned. And so Jason, I remember Jason coming by the house. He says, "Yeah, I gotta go. I can't think of his name. Gotta go pick him up and everything. Something's really wrong." He's freaked out, totally freaked out.
Oh, the gang.
And what it was.
Were they sacrificing a goat or
They
something?
probably were, but what happened was he went and picked him up.
Or Ethiopian kid?
Yeah.
We're going to sacrifice.
We're going to eat that one tonight. And he went and picked him up, and basically it was just, as soon as they got to the house, he says, "Do whatever you want, it's all yours," and everything. And it just, I don't know, it just weirded him out, He'd never been around that kind of a genre before.
Yeah.
And so Jason picked him up, and they dropped by the house, and I'm listening to some of the stuff. I says, "Well, you just got to realize it's a whole different world, and you are not even close to used to it."
Yeah.
And I says, "It's hard to understand if you're not part of it." These are the guys. He got tagged for having Nazi parties.
Really?
Yeah. They'd all dress up like SS and stuff like this, and have.
Now, was it just role playing, or was it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to them.
Right.
It's not like they're Nazis. They just, who cares? So it was an interesting. It was an interesting
turn.
I guess the guy don't like what we're talking about.
Oh.
It was an interesting situation for him. Changed his life a little bit. He looked at things a little different.
Yeah.
So
that's weird. Well, and when you're in that environment, you're not accustomed to it. Yeah. I imagine it make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Definitely outsider looking in. Oh man. No thanks.
Yeah, well, yeah. People think, "Oh man, if I only had $10 million, blah, blah, blah." You don't know what you're doing.
No.
I mean, I remember listening to a story on NPR, Minnesota NPR, and they were talking about a guy that had gone to a casino and won like $60,000. It completely ruined him because he just, once he got the money, he wanted more.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy got busted for breaking into people's houses and stealing stuff to go gamble. It was a total addiction. So, any of those behaviors can get you in trouble.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Especially when you're here it is, wasn't there a moment ago. Now what do I do with this? It can make you do stupid stuff.
Yeah. Well, the uber rich, that's, I mean, you think about it. What do they do all day? What do they do all
Trying
day?
to acquire more?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. Trying to acquire more.
Yeah. I went to the Howard County Democratic meeting the other day, and I'd met him once, but I got to meet him, again. a kid named Luis May. You know him? He graduated valedictorian at Nashville. He's, I guess he's got a good ride to University of Arkansas. He's going to study economics and political science because he wants to be a politician. And so I got to talking to him a little bit about it. He's telling me his plan is to get this done and then come back here and run for mayor.
Okay.
And, to stick his toe into the political arena. And
That's kind of where you start.
Well,
either
yeah,
council or
and I'm thinking, yeah, I would do that. I would go city council route.
do city council.
Instead of the mayor. That way, less responsibility. Because this is a little town, but as a little town, it all of them have problems, and some problems. It's like managing people. That's why I'm glad I don't have to manage people anymore.
Well, and it's like here, our sewer water bill, which includes the garbage pickup, went up $20-$30.
Yeah, so did ours.
Yeah, and it's like I think it was mostly on the garbage side that it went up.
Yeah, no, for us it was the water.
And I told Karen, I said, we're losing Husqvarna.
Yeah.
That's a big revenue generator.
Yeah.
So in order to keep status quo, someone's going to have to pay for that. To shore up that loss, that's going to come. $80-something for a month for that.
And you can't blame them.
No, I mean, and that's what I told her. I said, that's what's going on. It's not great. It's, the city operates at this revenue stream, and when it drops down like this, you got to shore it up.
Well, yeah, you got to do something because, and that's the thing. I mean, this kid's going to do it. If nothing screws him up, he's going to do good. Okay. His goal is to become governor. Okay. And then, from there, move to something else. But that's his goal. And I'm, wow.
Okay.
That friend I told you was the best friend of Jason's? That kid could have been governor of North Dakota easy.
Yeah.
He just had that. He had that mind. Okay. But it was a little bit of a,
He got introduced into the weird world.
Well, I told you
Screwed
the story about what happened. North Dakota, and people don't realize this, North Dakota has the longest football rivalry than any place in the United States. Everybody thinks it's something else. Those two have been going at it for years, and they put together this Buffalo Nickel trophy because UND, University of North Dakota, they're called the Bison. And then NDSU used to be called I got it back. University of North Dakota were called the Fighting Sioux. And then the University of North Dakota State University was the Bison. And so they called it the Buffalo Nickel. They had this big old buffalo. And what it was just a little rivalry. They'd play, I don't even think they were in the same league, but they would play this game for the trophy. This kid went down and stole that trophy. And they found out who did it. And that's why he jumped off a bridge.
Yeah.
But that kid, I remember telling him one time, I said, when you become governor, you make sure you invite me to your inaugural. Oh, yeah, I will. He had all the connections. He was smart, but that was a dumb move, and he didn't know how to deal with it. So,
and there was no getting out of that. I mean,
he was going to go to jail.
Yeah, who was going to spin him out of that?
Yeah, he was caught. So, too bad. I mean, that's still not the way to do it.
No, of course not.
I call that entitlement.
I agree. Sadly. Well, brother, I'm gonna have to. Call
Oh,
it a
that's
day.
right. You got a spa day for
got spa day for
Atlas.
Bridges. Yeah. So, and I don't have air conditioning in the van, so
Oh, that's not gonna kill him.
no. But I got to, I can't take him.
Like my
And-
glasses.
Oh, yeah, they're adorable. Bye, guys. I got to take Atlas to spa treatment.
Again, David, we got the message.
We got the message. And thank you, brother, for breakfast.
Thanks for breakfast, man. It was
Yeah,
great.
man. We love you.
We love you big time.
Well, we'd sure love to have you down here. I know you got some bullshit stories.
Oh,
Bet you-
beautiful
Can
stories.
you imagine? Love you.